Part 39. Waiting and preparing the bandits to wipe out in one fell swoop. These guards are like gods descending from the earth. With one knife, they killed all the stunned thieves and bandits. A middle-aged man dressed as a scholar eloquently listened to himself. Sort out the news, and say it like this. Not to mention that there are really many great masters, and the little lady loves to hear what he has to say. The men, women, and children surrounding him were surrounded by 3 layers and 3 layers, surrounding him so tightly that they shouted and clapped when they heard the joy. These people used to love to hear the news of the victory of the Red Robe Army, but they never tire of hearing it. Later, after the news of the annihilation of thieves and bandits spread, everyone became interested in the Guards' army, or in other words, they were all grateful to the Guards' army. They, the people of Liangzhou, were deeply affected by the bandits. And they hated them deeply. In the past, the officials had nothing to do with these bandits, and could only let them go. What could the common people do? Still can't bear it. Now, someone finally helped them breathe a sigh of relief. How could it not make people excited? These people have never heard of the Guards' army before. And now they heard the 3 words of the Guards' army, so they want to go forward and listen more. Everyone is preaching the bravery and ability of the Guards. How to save the people from water and fire, and how to fight hard against bandits. They all hope that the Guards' army can make persistent efforts to eliminate more bandits, so that they don't have to worry about it and have a happy birthday. Did you know? These guards are all from the capital, just like Prince Duan. I heard that they used to guard the emperor. They were called the Imperial Guards. Do you think the guards around the emperor? Can you? Is it amazing? Tisk tisk. Many people gave thumbs up. No wonder it's so powerful. The guards are amazing, and the Red Robe Army in Dayan Country is also amazing. I don't know which of the 2 armies are better. Someone asked curiously. Hey, what's there to compare? The Red Robe Army has a lot to do in defending against foreign enemies. The guards are equally successful in suppressing thieves and bandits. If both inside and outside are united, they will be able to return a Heian River to Liangzhou. These words won most people unconsciously. The people have placed the guards in the same position as the Red Robe Army. In fact, this is also very understandable. In the hearts of the people, those who can do things for the people and protect the people are great. These words came to the ears of the guards, and they all seemed to have been beaten with blood, and even the posture of walking was much more arrogant. When they left the camp in the morning for a morning run, there were even ordinary people waiting by the side of the road, either with a basket of eggs, or with a chicken or 2 ducks, and they had to force anything to them. Commander Mo had a long time ago that they were not allowed to take a single stitch from the common people. How could they dare to accept this? So, they could only comfort them with good words. But in the end, Commander Mo came forward and persuaded them with good words, and he could only buy them with silver taels. For the soldiers of the guard camp, these things touched them a lot. They had never heard the praise of the people, and only at this moment did they feel that it was nothing compared to someone who praised and loved them. In the past in Beijing, in the eyes of the common people, they were just swashbuckling and rambunctious. Naturally, they could not hear any good words. They could still be proud of their status as the Praetorian Guards all day long, and live a life of splendid and undisciplined. Today's people's praise and recognition make them feel the true sense of pride. Compared with the emptiness and complacency of the past, this is what they should really pursue. And manly men should be like this. As for the matter of returning to the capital, they had already forgotten about it. Is there a place here in Beijing? Can the people of the capital be so cute and unpretentious? They are to stay and guard this side of the people. The soldiers of the guards camp shouted to find Mo Zhang. And each and everyone asked Mo Zhang to give them another chance to suppress the bandits. I messed up Mo Zhang into a big one and two big ones. In the end, I had no choice, let me go. If anyone doesn't train well, come to him and tell him if he has any problems. He will beat him out immediately. The soldiers paused for a while. When Mo Zhang reluctantly told Ming Yu about these things, Ming Yu laughed. This is very good. It shows that the soldiers still have blood. Mo Zhang only had black lines all over his head. Ming Yu reclined on the small couch, holding a book in his hand. He stretched one leg and swayed leisurely. Mo Zhang couldn't see it, such a person who was sitting or not. How could he look like a prince of image? But thinking about what he did in the palace, he was relieved, and even those who dared to set fire to the imperial concubine's small treasury. Don't expect him to obey the rules. There are two braziers next to him. It's cold, and Ming Yu is afraid of the cold, so he can only hang out at home and don't go out too much, seedling. You tell them not to worry, sooner or later there will always be a place for them to move their bodies. Ming Yu reached out and picked up a small cake, threw it into his mouth, and said casually. To be honest, Mo Zhang was also worried when he was here. He knew Ming Yu's plan to deal with Song Qingfu, but he didn't see any news for a long time, so he wanted to come over and ask. His Royal Highness, my subordinates heard that Song Qingfu's force is getting stronger and stronger now, and many bandits have heard the news and defected to his command. By now, his team is probably Liangzhou, the most powerful team in the territory. If we let him continue to develop, will there be endless disasters? Mo Zhang hesitated and asked the words in his heart. Your Highness, the cubs below are all looking forward to His Highness to take action as soon as possible, but you are doing nothing all day. How do you ask your subordinates to explain to those cubs? Ming Yu ignored Mo Yang's slander and smiled. What's the hurry? It's just to get them all gathered together so that they can be wiped out in one fell swoop. The bigger their forces are now, the better, so that they don't need to spend any more time cleaning up the little scumbags. His Highness said something very reasonable, and he actually agreed with it. But can you wait for someone to come from you by sitting in the house like this? My lord, can we use snacks to deal with bandits? As if seeing through his thoughts, Ming Yu waved his hand and said carelessly, wait. It's not time yet. After waiting until the beginning of spring, the mountains and rivers will recover, and the earth will rejuvenate. Fortunately, there are not too many wars these days. Although small frictions between the border and Shuishi country have occurred from time to time, they have not caused large-scale conflicts. As for the bandits of the village, Shi Dashun's entire army was wiped out, so it was somewhat restrained. Even if there are not long-sighted people, the people hide everything in the underground secret passages and avoid them in advance, and the loss is not big. By the way, the incident of the Wang village underground passage was publicized intentionally or unintentionally, and it was learned that they escaped the disaster because of this. And there was no loss of people and property. All the people in other villages followed suit. Xu Wen couldn't keep his mouth shut. Now he didn't have to persuade the village to build an underground passage. Others came to the door and asked the government to send someone to guide the villagers to build it. As a result, each village was in full swing to organize its own manpower, and started construction day and night, without the supervision and management of officials. Ming Yu also organized people from the Wang village patrol team who had studied before, and went to various villages to tell about his training in the training base. How to find the enemy when he returned to the village, how to protect the villagers, and how to kill the enemy, etc. Because of what I have personally experienced, it is especially easy to resonate when I come out at this time. As a result, the young men in the village were both envious and proud, and they all signed up to go to the base for training. And their families were optimistic about them. Some men who did not want to go were beaten out of their homes with clubs by their parents. No need to go home. Of course. This is just a very few people. Most of the young and strong people are full of enthusiasm and rush to the road before dawn. Song Qingfu's influence has grown stronger and stronger. And he has acted more recklessly. The old man is better off with Song Lian in charge. They know that he still relies on Master Song for today. But the newcomers look down on this slender Master Song, who lived in a secluded background, and told them to listen to the weak scholar's words, hee. Just a joke, however. Song Qingfu would never allow anyone to be rude to Master Song. Although he also felt that Master Song was a little too cautious, and watched it slip away with a great opportunity, but on the surface, he did not dare to choke almost anything. All rely on Master Song. However, there are a lot of complaints from the people below, and they all start to complain in private. What did the leader of Song think? Our brothers came to defect to him because they wanted to follow him to eat and drink spicy food. Not to endure the hard life here. Some new people who joined him complained. They heard that the leader of Song is a big eater of meat and drink. You must know that the leader of Song led people to rob the village near Liangcheng, and the government suffered a secret loss. They took refuge in, not to mention anything else. As long as the leader of Song leads them to continue to rob, what are they worried about? Isn't a good day just around the corner? However, look at now, they have come to take refuge for so long. They are nesting in this mountain, and they can't go anywhere. Don't talk about drinking and eating meat, you can't see the white-faced buns all day long. I have to hunt some pheasant and rabbits myself, so I can barely get some oily meat. But when they asked the leader of Song when he would go out to the mountains to do a big business, they always made excuses. Let's talk about it. What's this called? When you talk about this, you are full of anger. What's going on? That's it, actually. You can't blame the leader of Song for this matter. I heard that the person in charge is a rabbit master. He looks good with thin skin and tender meat. The leader of Song is rare. No matter what, you have to listen to this master. Someone who knew a little about the inside story said. The newcomer was curious. Hey, is there really such a thing? How can the leader of Song be a hero? Why? Humph. What hero? Do you think he is really upright? Back then, how did the old leader die? If you say there is nothing tricky about it, who will believe it? As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned, and everyone looked around for a while, and they were relieved when they saw no one else, and then whispered, "Tell me now. What's so tricky about this?" Li Man and Wang Si looked at each other and smiled. They have established a firm foothold these days. As for those rumors, they just pushed their hands behind them. Song Qingfu had just returned from Song Lian's side, and he sat on the hall with a golden sword, his face slightly gloomy. I just had another unpleasant quarrel with Song Lian. I thought about being a dignified leader. Which of the brothers under his command was not respectful to him? Only Song Lian. I never got a good face from him. It has been 3 years. And he clearly knows his thoughts, but he never responds. Sometimes he really wants to lock him up so that he can stop thinking about the outside world, and he is the only one in his heart. But he knew that this was impossible. Although he saved him at the beginning, he never put himself in his eyes. Song Lian had clear grievances. He saved him. So he helped him make plans and pushed himself to such a high position. He knew his own abilities. If there was no Song Lian, how would he get where he is today? In the beginning, he was only a small team of 700 or 800 people, but now he has more than 2,000 people. The more people there are, the more difficult it will be to talk to each other. Recently, Several brothers have mentioned the matter of going down the mountain to work in front of him. However, Song Lian was bitten to death and asked them to stay calm. The matter of going down the mountain should not be rushed for a while. The two parties disagreed, and he was really overwhelmed. In fact, in his heart, he also favored the opinions of the brothers. But he had to listen to what Song Lian said. Scholars have a lot of thoughts, and they are always afraid of tigers and wolves. They must be thoughtful in everything they do. In his opinion, the 2,000 or so of them can already ignore the government. What kind of garrison and guards army? Can't say. Even if they encounter the Red Robe army, he can also stroke a tiger's beard. He didn't know what Song Lian was thinking about. He believed that as long as they went down the mountain, they would return with a full load. A few days ago, there was news on the road that the caravan that sent supplies to Prince Duan had just arrived in Liangzhou. These are rarities sent from the capital, and there are countless gold, silver, jewelry, and exotic toys. If they can get this batch of supplies, if nothing else, they will be able to eat and drink happily even if they do nothing for 2 or 3 years. Song Qingfu was naturally moved, and he went to Song Lian today because of this matter. However, he explained the matter in his own thoughts again, but Song Lian disagreed no matter what he said. Song Qingfu was sulking because of this, but Sun Zheng, the deputy leader, came in. Seeing Song Qingfu's obvious expression, Sun Zheng thought about it in his heart, but he still didn't quit, and only stepped forward to meet the leader of Song. What's the matter? Song Qingfu asked in a deep voice. Chief, have you made a decision about the supplies of Prince Duan's caravan? Sun Zheng asked straight to the point without beating around the bush. Song Qingfu frowned. Let me think about this matter. Hearing the big leader's obvious shirk, Sun Zheng was also a little anxious. It seems that what Li Man said is true. And it must be that Master Song did not agree to this matter, and the big leader will be unable to make a decision. Big Chief, you should make a decision earlier. You must know that the moment is fleeting. If Prince Duan's caravan enters Liangcheng, everything will be given for nothing at that time. Song Qingfu didn't understand this, but, just, alas. Seeing that Song Qingfu did not speak, Sun Zheng continued his efforts. The big chief, the spies have already inquired about it. There are only 200 or 300 people guarding the caravan. Are our 2,000 brothers afraid that these 200 or 300 people will fail? He glanced at him. Song Qingfu had a slightly moved face and continued. I heard that the emperor loves this younger son. There are countless gold and silver jewels, and even the most precious crystal glaze was given to Prince Duan in the car. Crystal glaze. That is a precious treasure. As long as we get it, we will be rich. Song Qingfu heard the words. His breathing was a little short, his hands clenched into fists and loosened, and repeated several times, but he still couldn't make up his mind. Big boss, so many of us can't waste time. Don't you know that the people below have already after having a lot of complaints? They defected and were willing to follow the big leader, because the big leader was unparalleled in his arrogance and demeanor. And they were naturally willing to follow the big leader to make some achievements. However, after really following the big boss for so long, we found that this is not the case at all. Even though the big boss can lead us to a better life, we still have to endure hunger here. This is not the original intention of the big guy. The big leader finally gathered so many people to follow. Do you want to let them down? I can't miss this opportunity. If the big leader is afraid, I will personally lead a team to go there. The big leader just needs to wait for the good news I'm waiting for. After Sun Zheng's words, he slammed into Song Qingfu's heart. He finally got the current situation. He didn't want his power to fall apart. He didn't understand the complaints of the people below him. The brothers under his command are gone, and even he himself is angry. Don't worry. We are going to order this batch of goods, it should be ours, no one can take it away, you first let the brothers prepare, we may leave at any time. Song Qingfu gritted his teeth and said, no matter. This batch of things is too tempting, and if he robbed this order, even if he was desperate, he would have no worries. If he really watched this batch of things slip away under his nose, then he doesn't need to be the leader anymore. Sun Zheng was overjoyed. It seemed that he finally persuaded the big leader. He was afraid that Song Qingfu would back out, and quickly responded, yes. I'll go tell the brothers to prepare to go. After Sun Zheng left, Song Qingfu's heroic feelings dissipated, and when he thought of Song Lian, he felt a little uneasy in his heart. Song Lian didn't recommend going, but if he insisted on going, he didn't know what Song Lian would think or what to do with himself. Explain to him? Thinking of this, Song Qingfu couldn't help but sigh again. Are you really going to rob Prince Duan's caravan? Song Lian's voice sounded. Song Qingfu raised his eyes and saw that Song Lian was standing at the door. Not knowing how long he had been here, judging from his appearance, he seemed to have heard what he just said. He felt a little uneasy in his heart, so he stood up quickly, went up to meet him, and smiled. You, why did you come here? Song Lian sat down with a calm expression. Song Qingfu sat down next to him, and before he could sit firmly, he heard Song Lian ask, have you already made up your mind? Song Qingfu was looking forward to him. Since Song Lian had already heard it, there was no need for him to hide it, and he finally gritted his teeth. That's right, the brothers below are already thinking about it. If they don't get their way this time, I'm afraid these people who defected to me will be extremely disappointed. And everything we have done before will be in vain. Song Lian nodded. If you want to go, you can go, but you must not be greedy, and if they have someone to answer, they must not fight. What? What? Song Qingfu thought that he had heard it wrong. He thought Song Lian would not agree, but it meant that he agreed already? It's best to come up with a plan. After all, this is a royal gift from the emperor. When and where to start, and how to transfer after success, how to get rid of the pursuers, these are all problems. And they all have to be planned and arranged properly. Song Qingfu was overjoyed. As long as Song Lian agreed, then nothing would be a problem. He rubbed his hands together and said happily, okay. I'll listen to you. As for how to arrange all this, I'm still bothering Master Song. Song Lian said, yeah. With a sound, he lowered his eyes and stopped talking. Song Qingfu didn't notice his strangeness. He walked back and forth in the hall a few times, and then said excitedly, I'll tell them the news. This time, we must do our best to rob the rich and help the poor, and even dare to touch the emperor's things. When it spreads out, I'll see who else dares to look down on me, Song Qingfu. Ha ha ha. Song Lian frowned slightly and wanted to say something, but he finally pursed his lips a few times, but he still didn't say it, but there was a touch in his eyes that was hard to let go. The dim light that people perceive. Song Qingfu was complacent, and his face was red. It seemed that he had succeeded even before the implementation started. At this moment, he can't care about anything, and he has to call someone to discuss it. Song Lian didn't like seeing other people, so he got up and left. When he reached the door, he turned his head and glanced at Song Qingfu before his leaving.